Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G-Lon33. I'm back here tonight with another episode of the Legit Shoot Podcast. Here with your Monday Night Raw review and results for January 24th, 2022. I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe and healthy. Not gonna lie, it kind of feels like January has been like 6 months long. This month, at least in my opinion, has been going by like really slow. I know it's the beginning of the year and all that, but I don't know. It just, to me, it feels like we've been in January forever. I don't know if that's because I'm back to doing weekly podcasts or something like that, but to me personally, it feels like we've been in January forever. I kind of just want February to get here, but you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person that's feeling that way. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me here on the podcast. I know we kind of didn't post anything last week. Last week I had some stuff going on, but we're back at it this week. It is a big week when it comes to wrestling. Royal Rumble week, right? Royal Rumble, my favorite pay-per-view of the year besides WrestleMania. I love the Rumble. No matter what's going on with WWE, good or negative, the Rumble always gets me hyped because you're always getting surprises. You know, you never know who's going to make a big return. You don't really know who's going to win the thing, especially this year. This year, we really have no idea who's going to win the Rumble. There's lots of names up in the air, and of course, we're going to be talking about those on tonight's podcast. We're going to be talking about that throughout the week, and so many other things as well. But I want to let you guys know this is your home for all the big Royal Rumble news. We have your Monday Night Raw review here tonight. We will have AEW on Wednesday, most likely. I'm planning to do an AEW review on Wednesday. SmackDown, the SmackDown review, that's gonna be up in the air when I'm because I usually do my SmackDown reviews Saturday afternoons. I don't typically do them Friday nights. I'm going to do my best to get the SmackDown review to you guys as soon as possible. If it's not really a newsworthy show, I may not do a review at all. But if it is a newsworthy show, then I'll do a SmackDown review Saturday afternoon, and you guys will get that right before the Royal Rumble, which I believe starts at 8 Saturday night. And of course, like we do with almost every WWE pay-per-view, I'll have a Royal Rumble live stream, full review / reaction right after the Royal Rumble goes off the air. I know some of you guys want me to bring back, watch-alongs, right? I know I used to do watch-alongs for some of the big pay-per-views. I really don't do those anymore. It's because I usually watch pay-per-views in my Discord server. So, I don't want to record a bunch of voices, have to ask people for permission. I don't want to have to go around asking people for permission about, are you okay if I record your voice for this reaction I'm doing on YouTube? So if something changes, maybe I'll do a Royal Rumble pay-per-view reaction, but for right now, that's most likely going to be done on my Discord server. Okay, but still, right after the Royal Rumble goes off the air, I will be going live immediately after the show. We'll talk about the Royal Rumble winners, the championship matches, what that means for WrestleMania. It's always one of my favorite podcasts of the year. I love the Royal Rumble, and I'm very intrigued of what's going to happen this year because we really don't have any clear direction. There's lots of things up in the air, and that's going to lead us into our Monday Night Raw review. Because Monday Night Raw last night was actually a decent show. Something I don't usually say when I get on here on this podcast. Usually I'm always bitching and moaning about Monday Night Raw, but I will give WWE credit, right? When WWE does something good, I'm always there to give them credit. And Monday Night Raw last night was a good show. It was a good show because it had a specific focus. And believe it or not, WWE put a focus on wrestling. Wow, what a shocker, right? WWE puts on a good show because they focus on wrestling, what they're supposed to be doing. World Wrestling Entertainment. What's first? What comes before the entertainment part? The wrestling. Wow. Imagine you can actually put on a good show when you focus on wrestling. Last night, Monday Night Raw, we saw some really damn good wrestling. 3 matches really stood out. Randy Orton and Chad Gable, uh, Austin Theory and AJ Styles, Kevin Owens and Damian Priest for the United States Championship. Those three matches were really, really good, and they really helped this show last night. There were some weak parts of the show, mainly the women's division, which is sad because you guys know how much I love the women's division. But and we'll talk about that. But you know, take out the weak stuff with the women's division. This show was actually pretty good. And then the opening with Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. I am so excited for this match Saturday. This is a WrestleMania worthy match that we're getting at the Royal Rumble. And, I am very, very hyped for this show. Or for this match. Not necessarily the show, but the match between Lashley and Lesnar. It's going to be, it should be a match of the year candidate right off the bat for WWE. Really, I'm very, very excited for that match this Saturday at the Rumble. But one thing I do want to talk about is Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. I was thinking about making a separate video on this, but I was like, might as well just talk about it on the podcast because it goes directly in what's going on with the Raw Women's Division on Monday Night Raw right now. And if you guys haven't heard the reports, it seems like Ronda Rousey could, it's not confirmed, but Ronda could be making a return to WWE as early as this Saturday for the Royal Rumble. All right. So we're gonna read this from Wrestling Inc. This is a story that's picking up a lot of steam. So what it says is Ronda Rousey is scheduled to be at WrestleMania 38, according to Dave Meltzer in the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. There has been internal discussions about Rousey returning to WWE. This is not a big surprise to anybody, right? We've been talking about this for years now, really. Ronda Rousey coming back to WWE really was more a question of if rather than when, right? We knew that Ronda wanted to come back, but of course she wanted to have a child, which she just recently did last year, right? And then they remember Ronda versus Becky was supposed to happen a lot sooner, but then Becky got pregnant first. And then as soon as Becky was coming back, that's when Ronda got pregnant. So they both had children one after the other. And I'm on the bet Ronda's just now getting back probably into like training shape, right? She just had her kid last year. She's not in the UFC no more. So I'm probably thinking like right now she's probably finally getting back into training shape, right? If she is coming back to the ring, she wants to look good, of course, right? Meltzer noted that he presumes Ronda will be at this Saturday's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. While he's not 100% sure whether or not she'll be in the match itself, the former Raw Women's Champion is scheduled to be at WrestleMania 38. The impression is that Ronda could end up facing Becky at the grandest stage of them all. The match is under heavy consideration for the two-night event. It is unknown whether or not this run would be a one-off. The expectation that it would not be a full-time run again. And I'll skip through more of this. Despite the fact that Ron has been gone for over 2 years, this hasn't stopped Lynch from trash talking. She previously told Vince Barton from Vibe Being Wrestling that Rousey should stay at home. Leave her at home, Lynch said. I've talked a long time that all these MMA heads that want to come into WWE because they think it's an easy meal ticket, but not put in the work and hours we do when it comes to travel and the grind and the obsessiness and making sure the crowd appreciates everything we do. She doesn't want to put in that work. Just remember that I'll be getting better and better every time while she's at home playing with her Twitch or whatever. And that is that. Look, I'll try not to make this too long about my thoughts on Ronda Rousey. If you guys haven't listened to this podcast for a while, I'm a fan of Ronda Rousey. I loved her in UFC. All right. I loved her in the 1 year she was in WWE. She was fantastic. She had one of the best year long runs in WWE history. Maybe the best. You can make an argument, from her debut at the Royal Rumble, what was it, 2018? When was it? Was it 2018 or 2019? Let me think. She made her debut 2018, right? That was the year Asuka won the Royal Rumble. And then WrestleMania 35 was when they main event. So yeah, 2018, then she left at WrestleMania 35. So she was there for a little over a year. For the time that Ronda was in WWE, that was actually the women's division at its peak. It was actually really, really enjoyable. I loved the women's division at that time. The only thing I didn't really like is, of course, Sasha and Bailey kind of, they weren't pushed as hard. Remember during that 2018 year, Sasha and Bailey, we didn't have the women's tag titles yet. Sasha and Bailey were basically just facing what was it, Absolution, or it was a Riot Squad. It was one of those two groups, and not both those groups. Most of the year, Sasha and Bailey weren't doing anything because they were kind of playing second fiddle to Becky, who was rising as the man, and Charlotte and Ronda, right? And then remember, Alexa Bliss was still on top, and we all remember Alexa and Nia having one of the worst WrestleMania women's matches ever. But Ronda's year-long run in WWE was actually pretty damn good. And the women's division was actually enjoyable for the most part, right? And Ronda was a great champion. Remember, she beat Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam, and she actually had a really good run with the title. Remember, Ronda, during that time, she was on TV every single week. She was even wrestling. She wasn't wrestling every week, but she was on TV every week. Remember, she also had that thing where she would defend the title the night after a pay-per-view. So, like, after the Royal Rumble or after TLC, right? She would actually, defend the pay-per-view. I remember she had matches like Natalya and Bailey, right? Ronda was very, very entertaining. She also had great feuds. Her best match, easily in my opinion, was Sasha Banks at the Rumble 2019. That was easily, in my opinion, Ronda's best match in WWE. She also had a great match with Charlotte at Survivor Series. We all know her feud with Becky Lynch. Ronda was great, and it actually brought eyes to WWE. It did. And the sad thing about it is that, it seemed like WWE, even though Ronda was great, it seemed like WWE was just using Ronda's popularity just so they could get that WrestleMania main event, right? And that was it. Because we all know after Ronda left, the women's division fell off the mountain. They did not push the women nearly as hard after that. If you guys remember, after post-WrestleMania 35, how bad the women's division was entering the summer of 2019, right? Sasha Banks was gone for 4 months. Ronda Rousey was gone. Remember, we spent most of the summer with Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans as the main feud in the women's division. I don't even remember what was going on in the SmackDown women's division at the time. I remember, Charlotte and then Bailey won Money in the Bank and all that. But the women's division was in an awful state after Ronda left because it seemed like all the momentum that they'd pushed into it, the second Ronda was gone, they were like, oh, we don't care. We got our main event. We got our headlines, right? Becky got her big moment. After that, the women's division fell. And the women's division, if we're being serious, hasn't been the same ever since. And that's sad because that shouldn't be the case. That should not be the case, right? The women's division has had some good moments since then, right? Sasha and Becky's feud, the pandemic and Sasha and Bailey carrying the company, and there's some other good things here and there. But the women's division, let's be serious here, the women's division really has not been featured as heavily since Ronda was there, outside of probably Sasha and Bailey. That was it. And that should not be the case because you wanted to make the women equal to the men. But the second Ronda was gone, you put the men back as the focus and the woman took the background, right? And, it's sad because if you bring Ronda back, yes, it will help the women's division, but it feels like it would only help the women's division as long as Ronda is there. If this report is true, right, and Dave Meltzer, is right, and Ronda's only coming back for that WrestleMania match, and Ronda's not coming back full-time or not even part-time, if she's just come back for this WrestleMania feud with Becky and that's it, yes, it's going to bring eyes to the WWE. It's going to be a big thing for WrestleMania. It's going to make it more of a must-watch event, right? Imagine we get Sasha and Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and we get Ronda and Becky for the Raw Women's Championship. Those two matches alone, you could have them both headline night 1 and night 2. That would not happen, of course, because Roman Reigns, is the top star of the company, but still, you get the point. But at the end of the day, you bring Ronda back, it brings eyes. You get all these headlines, but the second Ronda leaves, right? That would, the company will go right back to not caring about the women's division. Just look at the state of the women's division now. The women's tag titles don't matter. I don't give a crap about Becky Lynch being Raw Women's Champion. I don't give a crap about Charlotte being the SmackDown Women's Champion. It's the same thing. And Becky and Charlotte don't do anything to elevate the rest of the women's division. And I'm not getting into that argument tonight. But I said what I said. All right? Carry the hell on, as Kendrick Perkins would say. Becky and Charlotte don't elevate the women's division on their own. Sasha, Bayley, and Asuka, they do that. But Becky and Charlotte being pushed as champions all the time, they don't do it. And we all know WWE's formula. Becky, Charlotte, Roman, Brock, those are always the people that are on top. And it's sad that's the case. And Ronda's coming back to face Becky at WrestleMania. Becky's probably going to win. If they know that Ronda's not coming back full time, right? Becky's going to win because Ronda's not going to be there. So why would they take the title off Becky to give the Ronda when they know Ronda's not going to be around? See what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Like, what are we doing here? So I want to see Ronda Rousey come back. I want to see Ronda versus Becky. In my opinion, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Charlotte should have never been put into that main event at WrestleMania 35. That triple threat is not even the most memorable women's main event in WrestleMania history. Sasha and Bianca has a way bigger legacy as a match at WrestleMania than Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. Charlotte didn't do anything for that match. All right? It would have probably been better if it was just Ronda and Becky one-on-one without the Charlotte, because that triple threat was not even that good. It was actually a disappointing main event. So, yes, I want to see Ronda versus Becky. But you have to focus on the rest of the women's division. You have so much talent in there that you do not use. Look at Liv Morgan. People want to see her pushed. You didn't give her the championship. Even if it was going to be for a short time, you should have gave Liv Morgan the championship, but you chose not to. And now, what? Liv Morgan, what is she going to do going to WrestleMania? If you bring Ronda back, what are you going to do with Bianca Belair? Because the report saying, that the plans were going to be Bianca versus, Becky at WrestleMania. If Ronda comes back, that's clearly going to be changed. So what are you going to do with Becky and Liv at Mania? What are you going to do with Bayley? If Bayley's coming back in March, right? What is Bayley going to do at WrestleMania? What about Asuka? What about Rhea Ripley? This is stuff you have to think about. Sure, Ronda coming back, it's going to be a big return if it happens, right? If Ronda returns at the Rumble, if Ronda returns the night after the Rumble, or if they wait till WrestleMania to have her come, it's going to be a big deal. And we're going to talk about it. It's going to be exciting. I want to see it. But you can't just focus on Ronda and leave the rest of the women's division to dry. You can't. It's that simple. If Ronda comes out at number 29 and 30, right? Because if Sasha is able to compete this Saturday, we don't know, right? They make us believe that Sasha's not going to compete, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'm still leaving out a little bit of hope that Sasha could appear this Saturday at the Rumble. If Sasha is able to go this Saturday, Sasha should win the Rumble. It's that simple. It's that simple. But, if Sasha's not there, I would not have a problem with Ronda winning it. But we'll have to see what happens. But you cannot leave the rest of your women's division to dry, especially not at this time of the year. That women's division is way too talented for the focus to only be on Ronda and Becky Lynch, right? Oh yeah, we're getting Ronda and Becky. The rest of the women's division, screw yourselves. We'll see you after Mania. No, that can't be the case. We cannot have a repeat of 2019, the summer of 2019, all over again. Your women's division is already weak as it is, especially with all the names that you've released, right? Look at SmackDown's women's division. It's struggling to stay afloat without Sasha. And you've already released Toni Storm and Tegan Nox and Ember Moon, right? And all these other names. If you're going to bring Ronda back, fine. It's going to be good. But you also have to focus on the rest of your women's division as well. I'll leave it at that for now. I'm starting to get a sore throat. I don't know. The last couple of days, throat's been feeling very, very sore. I don't think it's COVID or anything like that. Plus, I get tested for work, so I think I'm good. But still, my throat feels very, very sore these last couple of days. I'm not sure why. Making it a tougher one, especially when I need my throat to be able to do these reviews. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Ronda Rousey. So I'm kind of glad I kind of was able to make it a little bit short. You know, like I said, if Ronda returns this Saturday, it's going to be awesome. But you got to also think about the rest of your women's division, especially now that we're entering WrestleMania season. All right, but okay, let's get into some of this other stuff with Monday Night Raw tonight. I'll keep you guys updated on Ronda Rousey. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if Ronda said anything on social media, but like I said, it's gonna be something we're gonna watch throughout the week and see what happens. Okay, so moving on. Let's get into Monday Night Raw last night. Like I said, this was actually a good show for once. This was a good show because the focus was on wrestling. So, like I said, if WWE would do this on a weekly basis, put the focus on wrestling because they have the best roster in the world. As talented as AEW's roster is, and AEW has a star-studded roster. A lot of those names came from WWE. WWE still has, in my opinion, the most star-loaded roster in all wrestling. It's easily the most talented roster in the history of professional wrestling. Easily. And like I said, if you could do this on a week basis where you put the focus on wrestling and just let these superstars go out it, and then you mix that in with creative storytelling and angles, that's all WWE would have to do to be successful. It's not that difficult. These superstars train and they want to get paid to wrestle. Let them go out and wrestle. That's it. How many times do I have to sit here and complain about a women's match getting 5 minutes when you should have gave it 10 to 15? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. We had there was 3 matches on the show that were absolutely fantastic. Why can't you get this every week? Mix that in with some good women's division matches, right? Then mix that in with angles and creative storytelling. That's all you got to do. That's really all you got to do. Is not that hard to be successful. Vince should know this. Vince should know this. Why can't you follow this formula every single week? If you did, you wouldn't be in the despair with the 1.5 ratings each week for Monday Night Raw. You wouldn't have me bitching and moaning and complaining, right? You're not going to hear me, ranting tonight as much because there's no need to. Because, last night's show was actually pretty good. It's pretty good. And that's really all that I asked for. This is really all that I asked for. So, starting off, we had the weigh-in between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley for their big match this Sunday. I'm going to pull up the clip here from WWE's YouTube page in just a second. Right? But really, they didn't need to do much here. Right? This match sells itself. You had that really cool Bobby Who's segment last night with, or last week, or no, 2 weeks ago, my bad. Yeah, 2 weeks ago with, Brock and Bobby. It did really all it needed to do. And the thing is, these two have not, had a physical confrontation outside of day one, right? Those couple of seconds they had in the ring. So, WWE's done a good job in making both look strong here, right? I know some people didn't like the weigh-in, but for me personally, I didn't really have any problems with it. Brock Lesnar came out. Brock Lesnar came out with the cowboy hat, everything. I love how Lesnar's continuing in this comedy role. This was hilarious. This was hilarious. So but I'm going to play the clip for you guys real quick. So Bobby Lashley came out, right? He's in a full, sports suit, track suit, right? Looking like a beast because this is supposed to be a weigh-in, right? Mixed martial arts style weigh-in, right? But Brock Lesnar comes out and he's wearing a cowboy hat. He's in, jeans. He has a jacket on, everything. Like, the same way he's been dressing most weeks. I don't know if you guys saw this, but WWEshop.com is actually selling Brock Lesnar flannels. So I guess gone are the days of Brock Lesnar coming out in tank tops and sweatpants. You know, Lesnar now is into wearing flannels, and I'm willing to bet that's what Lesnar actually wears back at home. But also one thing that was hilarious, Lesnar's hair was braided last night. You know, we know that he has Lesnar rocks the beard, and you know he had the ponytail, but he actually had his hair braided one way, which was, I was like, huh? It was one big braid. I was like, damn, you know, it's hilarious how creative Lesnar's getting right now. You know, and this is really, like I said, this is the best lunch has ever been. I'm loving this creative side to him. It's entertaining, it's enjoyable, and I absolutely love it.
Stood inside that ring. He looked at Bobby Lashley. Oh, I didn't know this was Brock Lesnar comes around us. But he looked at Lashley in the eyes and said, "Call, wanted, crossing him."
Pardon me, Mr. Lesnar, but I don't know if that's appropriate attire for a weigh-in.
Corey Graves tells Lesnar, I don't think that's appropriate attire for a weigh-in.
Mr. Graves, would you like for me to get naked for you?
Bobby Lashley, as the challenger, would you please step on the scale first?
Lashley looking absolutely ripped.
For the Almighty. It's stunning every time.
Chiseled physique.
Bobby Lashley's official weight, 273 pounds.
That is a huge heavyweight, 273.
273 pounds of almighty killing machine. Pounds of specimen like no other. Closer to a god than a man. 273 pounds of bottled lightning that Brock Lesnar will have to contend with at the Royal Rumble. This is it. The match that we've all been waiting for. It's gonna happen. The one that so many had written off as impossible. But the Almighty, he knew it wasn't impossible. He knew that this match was inevitable. 273 pounds. And actually, after the Royal Rumble, Bobby Lashley's gonna gain a little weight. The exact amount of weight as that WWE Championship.
Mr. Lesnar, would you mind stepping on the scale? And I, again, encourage you to maybe remove some of the clothing.
Would you kindly hold my hand?
Yes, sir.
He just took his hat off.
So Lesnar gives the hat. You see the braid?
The official weight for Brock Lesnar, 286 pounds.
Even factored in the clothes, that is a huge heavyweight.
And this is
One thing you got to remember also is Brock and Lashley are both baby faces. They're both faces. Lashley's officially a baby face now, right? Lesnar's been a face for the last couple months. Lesnar did get more of a ovation here from the crowd. There were some boos for Lashley. I don't know if that was because I guess Lesnar's a little more popular, but I think it is important to note that both are face. There's no heel going into this match.
Pissing me off. You think this is funny, don't you? You're acting like a fool because
Factored in the clothes, that is a huge heavyweight.
and this is pissing me off. You think this is funny, don't you? You're acting like a fool because you know that I'm going to beat you for that WWE Championship this Saturday. Mark my words, this will be the shortest title run of your entire career.
well, who's the comedian now?
Paul, get this.
on Sunday morning,
Yes, sir.
hot off the press, Bobby Lashley beats Brock Lesnar in the Hurt Lock.
What?
In the Hurt Lock, with the Hurt Lock,
Ladies
Lesnar.
and gentlemen,
Get your grammar right.
we have a new champion, the new reigning, defending WWE heavyweight champion of the world, Bobby who?
Wow. Disrespect right in the face.
And Lesnar leaves the ring. So clearly this is Lesnar. He's under he's taking Lashley lightly. He's clearly taking Lashley lightly. You know, he's disrespecting Lashley by calling him Bobby Who, right? Clearly Lesnar knows who he is, but but Lashley's not enjoying Lesnar disrespecting him. And like I said, remember, they're both baby faces, right? Lesnar with the comedy here is great, but I think it's going to come back to bite him. You know, hearing the reports right now, one of my friends, Geekdom 101, he contacted me, and he told me that one of the plans potentially for the Royal Rumble, nothing's confirmed. Like I said, going to the Royal Rumble, we have no idea who's going to win it. On the women's side, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, now Ronda Rousey, those are the favorites, right? And we don't know about Sasha, but, like I said, she could still win it. The WWE could be hiding that from us, right? Those are the favorites, it seems like, from the women's side right now. And on the men's side, Big E's name's being tossed up. I'm still hearing reports about Amos. I'm hearing reports about AJ Styles. Lesnar or Reigns are also being, depending on if one of those two men lose their titles, right? I heard a rumor that WWE is considering, or may still be considering, Lesnar losing to Lashley, right? Entering the Royal Rumble, but illegally, kind of like what happened with Money in the Bank a couple years ago when he entered the match when he wasn't originally in it, right? Him coming, entering the match illegally, eliminating the last 5 participants, right? And it not being an official Royal Rumble victory. I don't know how that would go over with the fans. Personally, I don't want to see it. I don't think that would be good for WWE if they did something like that, but I wouldn't scratch it off the table. I will not scratch it off the table right now. So, and I'm hearing that after Lesnar doing that illegally, they would do something, since the Elimination Chamber will be taking place in Saudi Arabia in February. They would do something where Lesnar would then go up against the 5 remaining members of the Royal Rumble match, and they would all be in the Elimination Chamber, and the winner of that match would go on to WrestleMania, right? And to choose whatever champion they would face. It's a unique idea. It's a creative idea. I don't know how many people would be happy with us not having a definitive Royal Rumble winner, because that's never happened, right? We've always had a definite Royal Rumble winner. But it's definitely on the table. Maybe they just go with Lesnar just entering the Rumble at number 30, right? That still could happen. But I think, either way, they're not merging the titles. They're not merging the titles based off reports. I think what's going to happen is Lesnar's going to lose that title to Lashley, right? I think him taking Lashley late will come back to bite him, right? And you kind of want to solidify Lashley as, the top babyface on Raw now, since Lesnar's not going to be there all the time. So I think Lesnar's going to make a mistake, and that's going to allow Lashley to get the sneak victory. I don't know if Lashley's going to win with the Hurt Lock. I could see Lashley winning with the spear, right? Especially if Lesnar's the babyface. Babyfaces don't usually tap out, but we'll see. But, in my opinion, I think that Lashley's going to win on Saturday. And then, Lashley's going to become the new top babyface on Raw with the WWE Championship. I could see Lashley versus Seth Rollins then happening for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Maybe Big E, right? Maybe they do like a triple threat, but I think that's probably what's going to happen. and I think Lesnar's gonna end up in the Rumble somehow, and then he's gonna end up either winning it, or then there's gonna be a fuck finish. There's gonna be a controversial finish that will lead to Elimination Chamber. But right now, I think Lashley will become the 2-time WWE champion at the Royal Rumble. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Moving on, we had our first match of the evening: Bianca Belair versus Selena Vega, right? And they showed the quick video package of last year when Bianca won the Royal Rumble, of course, in the Thunderdome, and they said that Bianca would be trying to go back to back. I definitely think Bianca will probably be in the final 4, maybe the final 3, right? And there's still a chance Bianca might win, but I think, with the Ronda Rousey news, right, I think Bianca's chances and odds of winning the Rumble go down significantly, right? If Sasha doesn't appear in the Rumble, if Ronda doesn't appear in the Rumble, right, I think then the odds of Bianca winning again do increase heavily. I could definitely see Bianca winning again. But if Ronda's there and if Sasha's there, I think, it's going to be one of those two that end up winning, right? I do want Liv Morgan to win the Rumble as well. Oh, I would love to see Liv Morgan win the Rumble if Sasha wasn't going to be there. But I'm now with everything, I think the chances of Liv Morgan winning, and even being in the Raw Women's Championship going into WrestleMania, I think those go down almost all the way. I think the chances of seeing Liv Morgan win at WrestleMania now, there's those chances plot significantly. I don't even know if she's in that conversation anymore. But we'll see. We'll see. But getting into the match itself, match wasn't anything, too special. It was a quick contest. Bianca showed her power early. Selena then took advantage, using her, as Corey would call it, veteran experience, wherever that is, to keep herself in the match. Right, Selena actually got some impressive moves there. She went for her code red, but Bianca, using her strength, was able to counter it and hit the KOD on Selena to get the win. So gives Bianca a big dose of momentum going into this Saturday, where she will be one of the favorites. Definitely. We'll see if she can go back to back Stone Cold style. And definitely, like I said, if Sasha and Ronda aren't in the match, she definitely has a very, very good chance. Next up, we went to Damian Priest versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. I know I didn't do a Raw review last week, but yes, Damian Priest's undefeated streak on Raw is over. Him and Matt Riddle, I don't know if I've said this before, him and Matt Riddle are two of one of the only guys that have actually come from NXT and have actually made a decent stay for themselves on the main roster. We've known that so much NXT talent over the years has floated into, absolute, oblivion. And, either they're in catering or, a lot of them have left WWE, right? Damian Priest has actually been a decent part of the main roster. And I'm happy to say that because I like Damian Priest. I definitely think he's going to be in the main event scene, by the end of the year. Will he ever win a world championship? I don't know about that. We'll see. The main event scene on Raw and SmackDown is a little bit cluttered, but it's a lot of clutter there. But definitely, Damian Priest has actually been able to survive pretty well in the main roster, and it's good to see him, Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the Four Horsewomen, right? I guess you could put Nakamura in there. Those are guys who have actually survived on the main roster, despite so much NXT talent not there anymore, right? But Priest versus KO. KO got this match after pitting Damian Priest clean last week. Even though he faked an injury throughout the match, he still won clean with a stunner. So you had this United States Championship match, and I say this all the time. This is WWE's thing, right? KO was in the WWE Championship match at day one. And then, right, he goes from a WWE Championship feud to a mid-card title feud. That's something that WWE does all the time. All the time, using their superstars going from one championship feud to another. That's the way it is. Look, I would have not even been mad if KO won the match, because you guys know I like KO a lot. He's one of my favorites on the main roster. And it's been too long since we've seen KO around with gold around his waist. I miss the prize fighter Kevin Owens, right? And part of me was thinking back when I saw this match. I was like, what if KO brings back the Face of America gimmick? Do you guys remember that when SmackDown was great in like 2017, 2018? When SmackDown was so enjoyable. Remember when KO won the U.S. Championship? He beat Jericho at, what was it, WrestleMania 33, I believe. It was 33. And then on SmackDown, he had the suit, and he was calling himself the Face of America, and then he had that really great feud with AJ Styles in the summer of 2018. I miss that. I think that was the last time KO held a title on the main roster. I don't think he ever won a tag title. But yeah, it's been like, 4 years, 3-4 years since KO last held gold. I would have been actually really happy for KO if he had won this match tonight. I would have had a problem with it at all. And plus, Damien has had a decent United States Championship run. He's held that title now for close to 6 months. He won it at SummerSlam. Now here we are near the end of January, so he's held it for about 5 months. He's done a decent job with the title. I would have not had any problem with KO winning it tonight, but that didn't happen. But this was a really, really good match. The crowd was really into it. Really into it. These two have surprisingly very good chemistry. KO brought out everything. These two went at it right away. Owens countered a choke slam, but he couldn't avoid a boot to the face. Owens hit him with a super kick. He went for a senton on the floor, but Priest blocked it with his knees and then hit a chokeslam onto the apron. We came back from break, right? Priest was in control, but KO hit a beautiful tornado DDT. Then he hit his classic frog splash, but Priest kicked out, which was a near fall. Then Damien hit a huge spin kick for another near fall, but then Priest lost his cool, right, and started stomping on Owens in the corner. You could see where this was going from here, right? Damien let the Damien come out, and the ref tried to get Priest to stop multiple times, but Priest would not stop. And then Priest got himself DQ'd. He gets to keep the championship, of course, but Kevin Owens gets another victory on Damian Priest, right? So 2 weeks in a row, KO has had a victory on Priest. We know that KO's in the Rumble this Saturday. KO's not going to win it, but I don't know if Damian's in there as well. But still, this is a feud that's going to continue, and I'm excited for it. Probably the next step is going to be a no DQ match, right? Because that's usually what's the theme. That's been the theme with Damian over the last couple weeks. So yeah, probably that's probably the next step in this story, and maybe KO might win the U.S. Championship. You never know. We'll see what happens, but still, I wouldn't mind KO becoming U.S. champion. I want to see KO as champion again. I miss him coming out with the title on his shoulder. KO is one of the only guys that carries the title on his shoulder all the time, right? You have some guys that switch it between having it around their waist and on their shoulder. KO always has it on his shoulder, right? So, some people will joke it's because KO's, a little heavier than other guys, but still, I love how KO holds the title on his shoulder all the time. And definitely I want to see that again. But this was a good match, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully they continue this coming out of the Rumble. Really enjoying the program with these two. Next up, we had Rhea Ripley, Dana Brooke, and Liv Morgan versus Nikki ASH, Tamina, and Carmella. This is one of the things that made this show that really hurt this show tonight, or last night. right? Like I said, this was a good show. This is what kept it from being a great show. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the women's division. If Ronda Rousey comes back and the focus is on Ronda versus Becky for WrestleMania, as good as that's going to be, what's about the rest of your women's division? This was bad. You had a 6-woman tag here, right? This could have been a good 15, 20 minute, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. 10 to 20 minute match. Instead, this match got, 5 minutes. I remember I went to use the restroom during this match and I came back and it was over. I was like, what the heck? Like, what happened? Not that I was excited for this match, but I want to see the woman get time to work. You're trying to tell this story with Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH, and even though I'm not really that invested into it, right? Still, you're trying to tell a story about, how these two were just tag team champions a couple months ago. Now they're no longer friends, right? You're trying to tell a story here, and then you're giving me no time to build any interest into this story. I was like, what am I watching here with these two? Plus, I love Liv Morgan. I don't really care about Dana Brooke or Tamina or Carmella, but I love Liv Morgan. I don't want to see her getting 5 minutes on TV. This really was nothing. Each woman before the match had like a 30-second promo on why they're going to win the Royal Rumble. They do that every year. If you combine the length of basically all those promos combined, I'm willing to bet that the combined length of all those promos was longer than the actual match itself. This was really nothing. I guess Rhea Ripley got, the shine here, but still, this is the problem. I'm talking about the women's division. The whole thing here, if you look at the match, Tamina and Dana Brooke started off for their teams, right? Brooke fought through a headlock and then made the tag to Rhea Ripley. Ripley knocked Mel and Nikki off the apron and then went to Tamina, right? Then the action broke down and basically then Rhea put Carmella in that, I forget what that, the reverse cloverleaf submission. That's what it is. And then was able to get the win. Like, Liv Morgan didn't even ever get into the match. People love Liv Morgan. She didn't even get a chance to do anything here. Right? Like, why am I supposed to care about these women if you're not going to give them any time to shine? I don't know. This is my problem with WWE. You do some things right? You give KO and Damian Priest a good amount of time, but you give the women absolutely no time here. Why? How hard is it to give them 10 to 20 minutes? It's a 3-hour show. Why? I don't get it. I really don't get it. After the match, Nikki took another cheap shot at Rhea Ripley, right? So Nikki's playing that delusional heel that thinks that what she's doing is actually supposed to be heroic, right? That Rhea's the big bad bully here. And, it's Nikki's job to take Rhea out. But, Nikki's being delusional here. Can we get Nikki some new music? Can we change her attire? She looks absolutely cringe. I would really love, because I've seen Nikki Cross. When I went to meet Sasha in, what was it? Ringside Fest a couple years ago. Nikki was also doing a signing. I watched Nikki interact with fans. Nikki's one of the nicest people ever. She's such a nice person. I would really love to ask Nikki how she feels about this character she's playing, especially now that the character is a heel. Because to me, it feels like a complete joke. It feels like a joke. Seriously, can you at least change her attire so it looks more? Give me some black. Give me some gray. You're playing a heel now. Why are you still coming up with those blue and yellow colors with the butterfly? Stop. Come on, put some effort here, WWE, please. It's really not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. But, we know that all these women will be in the Royal Rumble on Saturday. It'll be interesting to see if not Dana, who cares about Dana? If Nikki and Rhea have any interaction with one another, right? I wouldn't be surprised if one of those, if they end up eliminating each other at some point during the match. But You know, I just wish that the woman got more time here. So next up, we had the spelling bee with RK Bro and the Alpha Academy, right? The winner of this round would, or what was it? This challenge would get to choose the challenge for next week, and so on. This was probably the best part of the show. You know, the spelling bee was entertaining as hell, right? Like all four of these men were great in the spelling bee, right? Randy Orton entertaining. Riddle is always amazing, right? Riddle is always amazing with his unique personality. Chad Gable has been great as a heel these last couple of weeks, man. He's really, tapping into that character. I love how when he's talking, he's like, he says something smart and he's like, thank you. Like it's hilarious. And man, I love Otis, man. Otis is a fun character as well. Even though I miss babyface Otis from back in the days of I forget what was the name of the tag team he was in. Heavy Machinery. I miss the days of Otis and Heavy Machinery with the long hair. He does look weird with his facial hair, the way it is now, but still, this was easily the best part of the show. This was wildly entertaining. I'm gonna play the clip for you guys. Man, I at first I didn't know how I was gonna feel about them, spending a couple weeks on these challenges, but Alpha Academy, they are very entertaining as a heel tag team. And of course, RK Bro, they've been the most entertaining tag team in WWE for the last 6 months. JD said on Twitter, if WWE put the time and the resources into RK Bro into all their tag teams, the tag team division would be the best part of WWE. And I can't say he's wrong. Look at what they've done with RK Bro over the last year and how entertaining they've come with their story of how they formed as a tag team and everything else that they've done, right? You cannot tell me that if WWE didn't put that focus in the building up the rest of the tag teams, that the tag team division wouldn't be as good as it was in the Attitude Era. They have the talent, right? I just wish WWE would, focus on building up more tag teams instead of breaking up tag teams like they always do, right? This was so much fun.
My job is to make college easier because students have a lot on them.
The first event of the Academic Challenge is a spelling bee this evening. And it's important to note that tonight's winner...
Of course, RK Bro, like I said, super popular, right? Everyone loves this team. You can hear the cheers. This is awesome.
We'll get to choose next week's challenge. We shall start with the champions, the Alpha Academy. And first up for the Alpha Academy is Otis. Otis, the word you must spell is Emmental.
Emmental. Can you use it in a sentence?
Yes, it's a form of Swiss
I miss
cheese
babyface Otis,
with
bro.
holes in it.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Oh, yep. Yep. Oh, man, let me get my ham in my lunchbox. I miss babyface Otis, man. Those segments with him and Mandy. Woo. Oh, man.
Swiss cheese with holes in it.
Oh, yeah, you got it. E-M-M-E-N-T-L. Edmonton! M-E-N-T-L. Edmonton! E-M-M-E-N-T-L. Edmonton!
Wow. Okay. That is correct.
That's tough.
I had to rewatch it because when I heard it first last night, I was like, he spelled it wrong, But clearly, I guess, this was the way the segment was scripted. I don't know if Otis was supposed to spell it wrong or not, but he forgot the A at the end. And what was funny is they had the words on the screen so that you could follow along at home. And I was just laughing my ass. I was like, he got it wrong. And they still gave it to him, which, hilarious. Great stuff to start this off.
I don't know if I would have known that one.
And then Gable just kissing Otis on the cheek.
I taught him everything he knows. We already won.
And now for the challengers.
That's tough. I don't know if I'd have known that one.
I'm impressed. Okay.
That is correct.
All right.
That's tough. I don't know if I'd have known that one.
I'm impressed.
I love it. I knew it. I taught him everything he knows. We already won. We already won.
And now for the challengers, RK Bro. First up is Riddle.
Come on, Riddle. Riddle's show what you got.
Number 2 in more ways than one.
This is hilarious.
Riddle, the word you must spell is calibration.
I thought he was gonna get it wrong. Really?
Calibration?
No. Calibration.
I really thought he was gonna get this wrong.
Can you use that in a sentence?
A simple calibration procedure is used to set up the system for individual implementation.
Can you put that into letters for me?
Put that into letters.
Riddle, you must spell calibration.
Calibration. Oh, like when I calibrate my scale when I'm weighing stuff, like ounces, grams.
Riddle, please.
And
Just spell the word.
Orchard just laughing. I love it. I love it.
A simple.
I gotta go back and listen to this again. This is great.
Calibration.
Calibration?
No. Calibration.
Calibration.
Riddle, the word you must spell is calibration.
Calibration?
No. Calibration.
Can you use that in a sentence?
A simple calibration procedure is used to set up the system for individual implementation.
Can you put that into letters for me?
Riddle, you must spell calibration.
Calibration. Oh, like when I calibrate my scale when I'm weighing stuff, like ounces, grams.
Riddle, please. Just spell the word. Calibration.
Calibration. C-A-L-I-B-R-A-T-I-O-N.
Just find something that makes it work in your head. There you go.
That is correct.
I-B-R-A-T-I-O-N.
Just find something that makes it work in your head. There you go.
That is correct. Calibration.
Wonderful. A-T-I-O-N.
Just find something that makes it work in your head. There you go.
That is correct. Calibration.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had somebody on the other side of the arena next to, like, of course, where they have the TV camera, the one that the superstars stare in when they're doing promos and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they had somebody there with big letters actually saying the word just in case they forgot, right? Because remember, this is a scripted show, but still, Matt Riddle was so entertaining here, and this thing just got better and better. I love
That
it.
is correct. The word you must spell. Disillusion.
Kev. Oh, baby. I thought you were going to give me a challenge here tonight. I was looking forward to this. You know what? For the sake of sportsmanship, why don't you go ahead? Give me the definition.
The definition. The definition. I'm going to use that every time. Hey, give me the definition. Thank you. Oh, man. Gable's great.
Disappointment result.
I got to hear that again.
Looking forward to this. You know what? For the sake of sportsmanship, why don't you go ahead? Give me the definition.
Definition.
Disappointment resulting.
Shush.
I
I know the definition.
This is great. Gable's like, give me the definition. Shoot. Shush.
You're looking at Mr. Go ahead. Give me the definition.
Definition.
Sure. Disappointment resulting.
Shush. I know the
Shoo.
definition. You're looking at Mr. 4.0, baby. I don't need it. Disillusion. The disbandment of a group or an organization. Shush. I said I know the word. D-I-S-S-O-L-U-T-I-O-N. Dissolution. Thank you.
No. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got toast mas. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. This is great. I love it.
Word. Of a group or an organization. Sheesh. I said I know the word. DISSOLUTION. Dissolution. Thank you.
No. Thank you.
No.
Chad, that is incorrect.
What? That's impossible.
You spelled dissolution. Well, I clearly said disillusion. Unfortunately, you were incorrect.
Is this a joke? I spelled the word right. You said the word wrong. What the hell is that accent anyway? We should have got a proper host for this. I spelled the word right.
Incorrect.
Gable doesn't speak Irish. What a major fail for Chad Gable.
Hey, Chad, what do you say you do me a favor and you take a freaking seat, please?
I love how Randy goes 0 to 100. He's like, Gable, do me a favor and take a freaking. I love it. This was great. This was great.
Hey, Chad, what do you say you do me a favor and you take a freaking seat, please?
Dude, it's 2022. Randy Orton started in 2003, right? The fact that he's still here 2 decades and he's still this great at what he does, man. Love Randy Orton, man. Never changed. All-time legend.
All right. Hey, Chad, what do you say you do me a favor and you take a freaking seat, please? All right. Kev, give me my word, please.
Still
Let's
tied
get
1-1.
this over with.
Randy Orton, for the win for RK Bro. Your word happens to be one of the most commonly misspelled words in the English language. The word, Randy, is dumbbell.
He got an easy word. But a lot of people just forget that's the second B.
Got this, Randy?
Randy, would you like a definition?
No, I think I'm good. Dumbbell, D-U-M-B-B-E-L-L.
Yeah!
That is correct!
We have a winner!
Hey, are you kidding me? Dumbbell was his word. His partner's a freaking dumbbell. He looks at a dumbbell all day long.
Hey, no, whoa, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
I love it. Randy Orton just goes off here.
Dumbbell was his word. His partner's a freaking dumbbell. He looks at a dumbbell all day long.
Hey, no, whoa, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Please, you know what? As a matter of fact, Ohio, how about I shut Chad Gable's mouth for him?
And then he would proceed to say, and I'm going to do it in the words or using the most destructive letters in all sports entertainment, and the whole arena spells out RKO, which goes perfectly with the segment. This was great. Everything about this was fantastic. And then what was even better was the match we got after it. Randy Orton, Chad Gable put on a fantastic match here. They got plenty of time. I not gonna lie, I kind of wish that they would have gave some of this time to the women's 6-man tag or 6-woman tag, right? Like I said, I don't like when the women get done dirty all the time, but still, Randy Orton and Gable put on a fantastic singles match, when Orton, sometimes Orton, some people are like, Orton does his own thing all the time, right? Orton doesn't always give it his all, but Orton gave it his all. He almost hit the punt. And when was the last time we saw Orton go for a punt? He rarely brings out the punt anymore. That's when this was a great match. And Gable, he's one of the best technicians in the world, man. And obviously, probably this is going to end up with Alpha Academy losing those titles to RK Bro. RK Bro will probably walk into WrestleMania with the Raw Tag Team titles, which I'm not going to complain about. But still, man, Alpha Academy is so entertaining as a tag team. And I just hope people are taking notice. Chad Gable is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world, if you ask me. And yes, still Alpha Academy does give me American Alpha vibes, right? When back in the day when it was Chad Gable and what's his name? Kurt Angle's son. I'm not gonna try to remember his name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But still, I love Alpha Academy. They are they're so entertaining. This was a great segment. Not everybody, loved the spelling bee. I did. It was actually hilarious. This was sports entertainment at its finest. This was great. Sure, yes, it was a little bit ridiculous, but this is wrestling. When it works, it works. It worked here. It worked here. Everybody worked to make this segment enjoyable. I loved it from start to finish. Orton was great with his passion and his energy at the end and his intensity. Riddle being just Riddle, of course. Gable being that cocky, smart-ass heel. And, of course, Otis. He's so lovable even though he's a heel now. I love Otis. This was very, very enjoyable. Thank you. Give me the definition. I should just choose. Man, but I know Chad Gable actually does have a 4.0. He's actually ridiculously smart. Not only is he an amazing wrestler, and ripped the shreds, he's also a super intelligent guy. So credit to Chad Gable. This was great. And then the match itself, but this was great. So Gable hit Orton in the throat and cornered him for some forearm shots, but Orton was able to turn the tables, hit uppercuts, right? He set Gable to the outside and dropped him on the commentary table with his classic back suplex. Otis provided this distraction that allowed Gable to clip Orton's knee, right? Gable hit a beautiful moonsault. Charlotte, Lacey Evans, take fucking notes, right? He hit a textbook moonsault for a 2 count. We came back. Gable was going after Orton's knee. But Orton made the comeback, hit his backbreaker, hit his DDT. He was going for the RKO. Otis took Riddle out of ringside, but the distraction didn't do anything to stop the action in the ring, right? Orton then went for the punt kick, but Gable was able to reverse it to the ankle lock. But Orton was able to escape and survive and hit a beautiful RKO, which Gable sold perfectly for the win. Like I said, this was fantastic. Everything. I loved the spelling bee, and the match itself was even better. Great stuff here. Riddle announced after the match that next week they would be competing in a scooter race, right? Which, I hope they make it entertaining. If they can make it as entertaining as the spelling bee was, I'm all for it. It would be hilarious to see Randy Orton riding a scooter. I don't know if Orton's gonna do it, right? But hey, it'll be interesting. Maybe I don't know if they're gonna make an obstacle course in the arena or they're gonna do something backstage. But definitely, this scooter race next week should be fun. As long as it's as good as what we saw with the spelling bee, I'm all for it. I'm enjoying this feud between these two right now. Very, very cool stuff. Anyway, moving on here. Moving on here, we had the Street Profits versus no. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. We had Finn Balor. No, sorry, Finn Balor. Don't get me started on him. AJ Styles versus Austin Theory, right? Remember, Styles and Theory actually faced off a couple weeks ago when Styles was having that little mini feud with Grayson Waller on NXT, right? But this match was there was no Grayson Waller. It was just two really good athletes going at it. Austin Theory, he's been Vince McMahon is his mentor, right? Austin Theory tried to convince Vince to give him a really good drawing for the Royal Rumble. But Vince, was like, why the hell do you think I would have any control about that? Instead, Vince told him to bring him back a really good selfie from his match with AJ Styles. And this match was fantastic. Probably the third really good match we got tonight. I think Orton and Gable took the cake for the best match of the night, but this gets the close second. This was great, right? You have a great young wrestler in Austin Theory who can be, if built correctly, he could be the next big thing for WWE for the next decade. going up against one of the all-time greats, first ballot Hall of Famer in AJ Styles. In my opinion, still one of the best wrestlers in the world. You could make an argument that he's still the best wrestler in WWE today. And the fact is that Styles is in his 40s and he is still this damn good. It's ridiculous how good AJ Styles is at his age. This match was great. It started off a little bit slow, but after the commercial break, these two absolutely just ramped it up. So Theory hit a backbreaker, right? They started trading strikes. Styles started to take control once again. Excuse me. He hit a suplex neck breaker and a sliding forearm for a close 2 count. Theory hit a nice rolling blockbuster for another near fall. Styles countered a power bomb and hit a Pele kick. Styles rode Theory into the calf crusher, but he got to the ropes to force the break. Theory tripped Styles on the top ropes, but the ref caught him using the ropes during a pin. And while he was arguing with the ref, Styles recovered and was able to hit the phenomenal forearm for the win. Very, very, very good match, like I said. The big thing is, Styles, he's going to be in the Rumble this Saturday. I am not against AJ Styles winning. I would have no problem at all if AJ Styles won. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the entire company, right? I have been talking about it for months, especially when AJ Styles was with Almas. I talked about it. AJ Styles, should be in the main event scene, not, playing second fiddle in this tag team, carrying Almas, right? Yeah, I would not be surprised if Styles and Almas have an interaction in the Rumble this Saturday. I would love to see Styles eliminate Almas. I don't want to see Almas anywhere near the end of this match, but it scares me. Who knows how long Almas could be in that match tonight or at the Rumble? Almas didn't appear at all on the show, but it is something we do have to be mindful of going forward. But still, this match here with Styles and Theory was great. Like, Styles wins the Rumble, I don't think, would you guys complain if we got Roman Reigns and AJ Styles at WrestleMania? No, I don't think it's going to happen because Lesnar, of course. But remember, we haven't seen Styles and Roman go at it in nearly, 6 years? 6 years. And that's crazy. It's been 6 years since Roman and Styles had their great feuds. Roman and Styles, even though it was kind of a filler feud, right? Because it was supposed to get Roman to Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. But, Roman and AJ Styles had 2 great pay-per-view matches. I think, Extreme Rules and I don't know if it was Over the Limit. They faced off at 2 pay-per-views after Roman beat Triple H for the WWE World Title at WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, right? It's crazy that it's already been 6 years since those 2 had their matches, man. Like, time fucking flies. Time flies so fast. 6 years. 6 years since Styles and Roman went up. But I would not complain at all. I would love to see Styles versus Roman again. Babyface Styles versus heel Roman. I would love to see that. I wouldn't complain Styles versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Give me that. I am not complaining at all if Styles wins the Royal Rumble. I don't think it's likely. I think Styles will be one of the, last people in that match. But, I don't think he's going to win it. But we'll see. You never know. Plus, you gotta start thinking about what do you do with Styles at Mania? He is a babyface now, right? I still want to see Styles versus Edge. I think that would be a great match. That's a dream match for many of us. So you gotta think about what's Edge gonna do going to WrestleMania, right? Styles versus Edge definitely should be on the table. Not complaining if you put Styles in a championship match, But other than that, I don't know what else you would do with Styles. He's hot right now, and you never know. You don't know when Styles is going to retire. The guy, he said he is near the end of his career. Styles could, retire any day now. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But watch out for Styles, man. He could be an underrated name to win the match. He could be one of the dark horses to win the Rumble on Saturday. So we'll definitely have to watch out for that. But yeah, very excited to see what happens with Styles going forward. It's great to see that he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's not going to AEW. He's going to end his career here, most likely with WWE. But yeah, love Styles. Love Styles. Cannot wait to see what happens with him going into WrestleMania season. Next up, and great match. Oh, and I will say this about Austin Theory. I forgot to say this. Theory, man, like I said, he if booked correctly, he could be a future star at WWE for years and years to come. Watch out for him in the Rumble. I don't think he's gonna win it, of course, but Vince is high on him. Theory could be the Iron Man of the Rumble. There's always that one Iron Man every single year. We saw Edge win it from the number 1 spot last year. I think that could be Theory this year. Theory's not going to win it, of course, but I would not be surprised if Theory draws like number 4, number 5, and he's in there for like 40 minutes. Like he's there near the end. I think Theory's going to have a very, very good showing in the Rumble this Saturday. It's part of the reason why I love the Rumble. You have the Iron Man, you have the dark horses, you have the surprises. I absolutely love the Royal Rumble, and I cannot wait for this Saturday. Next up, we had the Street Profits versus the Mysterios, right? This was another really good match. Really good match. Like I said, there was tons of great in-ring action on this show. These are two of the better teams in WWE, two top babyface teams. And we also know that both teams will be in the Rumble this Saturday. Remember, we've heard rumors over the last couple months that WWE is potentially considering breaking up the Mysterios just because they might want to do Rey versus Dominic going into Mania. I'm not really that interested in seeing that, to be honest, but it is something we got to keep an eye out for. Dominic said that it's every man for himself, and if he sees an opportunity to eliminate his dad, he will have no problem doing that. I think that is going to happen this Saturday, if I'm being honest. I do expect Dominic to eliminate his father from the match at some point. I don't know if that would be the turning point or that would be the moment where their feud would begin, but it is something to be mindful of. It is something that we got to look out from. And also, remember, Rey Mysterio, he is on the cover of WWE 2K22, which I am super excited for that game. I really hope that, this is a good WWE game because it's been too long. It's been 3 years. WWE 2K19, that was the year AJ Styles was on the cover. That was the last great WWE game, in my opinion, because 2K20 was a failure. And I'm really hoping that 2K22 revives the series because I love WWE games. It's been too long since we've had a good one. So we had the Street Profits and the Mysterios go at it, right? This was a really good match, right? You got high flyers, and of course Angelo Dawkins bringing the intensity with the big man moves. So these two, it was a two babyface teams, right? Nothing too aggressive, but Rey took Ford down with a head scissor. He followed up with the seated senton, but Ford propelled him in the air and let him fall to the mat. Ford counted the 619, but Rey scored the pin with a victory roll for the win, right? So the roll kind of protects both teams, whatever. But yeah, after the match, the Dirty Dogs came out, right? And it was more of a tease for the Rumble, as they eliminated the Dirty Dogs from the ring the same way they do in the Rumble. We know that all 6 men will be in the Rumble this Saturday, and we'll see what happens there. My big thing is I expect Dominic to eliminate his father. That I definitely think that's what's going to happen. And we'll see if that is the start of, a potential Dominic and Rey feud. We know that WWE's wanted to do that for a while. Rey has said in interviews he doesn't want to do that feud, but you never know. You never know. Plus, it's great to see Rey Mysterio still wrestling at his age. I love Rey Mysterio. I believe he's only 42, which is surprising to me. Let me look up his age. But, it's great to see that Rey still at this stage of his career still is one of the, a really great. Oh, no, Rey's 47. My bad. He's closer to 50. But the fact that Rey can still wrestle at his age, man, at a high level, it's great. It's great. I love Rey Mysterio, man. Love him. And I really do hope that we get, RK Bro versus the Mysterios at some point. That's a feud we've actually haven't gotten yet. That's one of the only teams that RK Bro hasn't faced yet in the Raw Tag Team division. So maybe for Mania, maybe leave something like that on the table for Mania. RK Bro versus the Mysterios. But, definitely stuff to keep an eye on as we go forward. So, yeah. We had a backstage interview with Becky and Becky Lynch and Doudrop. We know that both these two are supposed to go at it at the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship. When I tell you I have absolutely no care for this feud, I have no care for this feud. They're both heels. First off, and Becky, like I said, Becky doesn't elevate anybody. I'm not gonna sit here and rant like I usually would on Becky Lynch. I'm not. I'll probably save that for the Rumble review this Saturday, right? But I have no care here at all. This is just another name to add to Becky's list. That's really what it is, right? Make Becky look dominant, especially if they're building for Becky and Ronda potentially at WrestleMania, right? Have Becky run through the entire division, once Becky beats Doudrop, because I don't think there's anybody that believes Doudrop's winning at the Rumble. There's no way Becky's losing that title to at least Mania, right? Who else is there going to be for Becky to face? She's beaten Bianca already. Sure, they might do Bianca and Becky at Mania, but if Ronda's coming back, that's not happening. We'll just have to see how that unfolds in the next couple of weeks. They've already done Liv. I want to see Liv become Raw Women's Champion, but it seems like WWE has no plans for that, which is sad. Yes, there's still some other matches you can do, right? You can do Becky and Rhea Ripley. That's a fresh feud. You could do Becky versus Alexa Bliss. You can do Becky versus Asuka if Asuka comes back to Raw. Becky versus Bayley. Becky versus Ronda. Yes, there's still a lot of fresh feuds you can do for Becky. But still, seriously, there's no story here. Both are heels. You turn Doudrop heel, right? And there's I get it. The whole point of that segment was, Doudrop kind of manhandling Becky these last couple weeks. You want to make Doudrop look like she has a chance, but we all know she doesn't. I don't know how Becky's gonna win. Becky's probably gonna cheat, right? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Doudrop taps out, right? Because they're both heels. Or, I don't see Becky hitting the manhandle slam on Doudrop. I don't think Becky's that strong. I think Becky's going to find some way to cheat. She's going to beat the heel with her own cheating ways. There is no story here. There's no story here. I honestly just don't have any care for it. Honestly, in my opinion, it's sad. It's sad. If this was Sasha Banks, it would be a completely different story. You guys know how I feel about Sasha Banks, best female wrestler in the world. Don't really have to remind you guys how I feel about Sasha. But I have no care when it comes to Becky and Doudrop. Zero care. Zero care when it comes to that. That's my opinion. Look, they might put on a good match. I'm not banking on it, but you never know. You never know, of course. But I am not that excited for Becky and Doudrop at Royal Rumble. There's really no story here. So basically, this whole promo was Becky doing her normal bragging stuff, right? How, Doudrop was looking up to Becky before she made it onto the main roster, blah, blah, blah. How, Becky was telling Doudrop that she should be on her knees for her, and all this other stuff, and thanking her for this opportunity and making her look great, right? And Doudrop, she had some good comebacks here, but I just don't have any care for this match. I don't care. And I knew how these little interview segments end, right? Usually it ends with somebody getting pissed off and going after the other who's in the other room, right? They're just ironically being interviewed in the room next door, right? So Doudrop goes next door and attacks Becky, right? And then they have to be separated by referees. We'll see what happens, but I don't have any excitement for this match. Honestly, if you ask me, this match should be on the pre-show. It's not going to be on the pre-show, right? Because it's the only women's match on the show outside the Women's Royal Rumble. Charlotte's in the Royal Rumble. She's not defending her SmackDown Women's Championship. So, yeah. And what's interesting is, now that I think about it, this would be the second straight pay-per-view that Becky's defended her title and Charlotte hasn't. What was the last pay-per-view Charlotte defended her title at? I can't even remember it. She didn't defend her title at Survivor Series. When was the last time Charlotte defended her title on pay-per-view? I don't. If I'm being serious right now, I don't think Charlotte has defended her title on pay-per-view at all. I could be wrong in that, but after Crown Jewel, when Sasha, Bianca, and Becky put on that banger of a match, right? Then we had the draft, I think, and then after the draft was Survivor Series, right? Charlotte versus Becky. Then we didn't have a pay-per-view for 6 weeks after Survivor Series. So then day one, we had Becky defended against Liv. Charlotte didn't defend at all. And then at the Rumble, Charlotte's not defending. She's going to be on the Rumble match. So that would be 3 straight pay-per-views with Charlotte not defending her title. So there's something to keep in the back of your minds, of course, right? But Becky and Doudrop, I think that match should be on the pre-show, if I'm being honest. It's not going to be on the pre-show, but in my opinion, it should. I don't have any excitement for that match. If you're going to do the match, you should do it early on. And I don't know really how the card's going to go, right? Because you had the 2 Rumble matches, and usually you do one earlier in the show, and then you do the other later in the show, right? But, of course, you also have the mixed tag team match, and then you have Becky's versus Doudrop. You have your championship match. So you have 6 matches all in all, right? 4 matches that are non-Rumble matches. So I don't think there's anything else that's been announced for this show, but I really don't know how you structure the match card right now, right? Clearly Roman and Seth are going to be later in the show because that's the way it'll go with Roman. Maybe you start the show with Lashley and Lesnar, and then after that you do the Women's Royal Rumble match. Maybe. That's my guess, but I don't know. It's definitely it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they structure the show on Saturday, but we'll see. I expect Becky to retain by cheating. I won't care, because Becky's not that interested in me anymore. And yeah, the big thing will be if Ronda appears in the Rumble. That would be the big thing. And maybe Ronda doesn't even appear in the Rumble and Cena confronts Becky personally. Maybe after the match, Becky's celebrating, then Ronda confronts her, right? I don't know. We'll see. It would be ironic because remember when Becky won the Rumble a couple years back and she confronted Ronda, right? That was a famous moment. That was an epic moment. I think Ronda had just finished defending the Raw Women's title and that Becky comes out and they had that epic face down. Really, really cool. We'll have to see if they do something similar to that with Ronda coming into this weekend. Like I said, lots of possibilities, lots of different scenarios. It'll be really interesting to see how WWE executes going into this weekend with these matches. But yeah, no care for Becky and Doudrop though. Don't care at all. Last but not least, I don't really have much to say here about the main event. They did the Happy Birthday Maurice segment, which was kind of a damper because you had some really good matches tonight, right? Orton and Gable, the Mysterios and the Street Profits. You had KO and Damian Priest. You had Theory and Styles. You had some really, really strong in-ring action, which made this a good show. And then you just kind of put a damper on it with the ending segment here. I understood, yes, Edge and, Beth. But like I said, I don't have any care for this match going to Saturday. You sure, it's going to be cool to see Beth in the ring with her husband, right? But I have no care for the match itself and the story. There's really no story here. I still don't really know what these two teams are feuding about. I guess Beth being mad, of course, because Maurice pulled the thing with the brick last week. Yes, I kind of get that, but still, I'm just like, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not feeling it too much, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but as you know, the whole thing is they did Maurice's birthday thing, right? There's not too much here. There was a cool little portrait of the two of them as like princess and prince, right? And then there was a Julie box as a second gift, but the third box, there was something big in the ring, right? It was a big box. Miz thought that Maurice got it for him, but Maurice thought that Miz got it for her, and clearly, I thought, it was gonna end up being I thought it was gonna end up them trying to do like what they did with Sting a couple years ago, right? With Seth Rollins, had the statue and then Sting shows up instead. I thought this was just gonna be Edge there, but instead, the only thing that was under it was just the brick, right? It was the brick that Maurice hit Beth with last week, and then Edge and Seth actually came out, or Edge and Beth came out. They looked pretty good. Beth looks absolutely jacked. It looks like she's been doing the same workouts that Edge has been doing, right? They came out. They took out the security. Miz and Maurice kind of ran, watching from ringside. They destroyed everything. They put one of the security guards through the cake, right? That Maurice had, or that Miz had made for Maurice, and I think they did the 3D, if I'm right. They did the 3D on one of the security guards. It was kind of a showcase of Edge and Beth doing some really cool moves. And, I expect them to do the same moves on Miz and Maurice Saturday at the Rumble. Still, my question here is, if I'm Edge, why the fuck do I care about Miz? Why am I not focused on winning the Rumble for a second year in a row and, go try the main event at WrestleMania, become world champion again? Why is that not my focus? I don't think you're going to see Edge wrestle twice. It could happen, right? I think they've announced 22 men for the Rumble, so there's still like 7 or 8 spots, where they could have surprises and stuff like that. And there will be some surprises Saturday night. That's what makes the Royal Rumble great. But maybe, you never know. Maybe Edge appears in the Rumble after his match with Miz and Maurice. Cause I expect the Men's Rumble to main event the show. So maybe Edge just stays in his ring gear and then makes a second appearance. But still, I don't know. I don't know why, if I'm Edge, why am I focusing on the Miz going to the Rumble and not trying to, repeat and win the Royal Rumble for a second time? I don't know. Why am I not doing that if I'm Edge? But still, it's whatever. We'll see what happens. Should be cool to see them do these second moves, these double team moves, because Edge and Beth, they definitely look like they got some cool double moves planned for Saturday. So it should be cool to see what they do against Miz and Maurice, right? I don't think the match is going to be that great. I expect Miz and Edge to carry most of it, and maybe we'll see Maurice wrestle. Cause she knows how to wrestle. We know that. She's faced Beth in the past. Maurice knows how to wrestle. I expect Edge and Miz to carry on the match for the most part, and then we'll see what happens from there. But should be interesting on Saturday. I expect Edge and Beth to, ultimately get the win. And then hopefully from there, we can actually get Edge in a meaningful program as we enter WrestleMania season. Again, no matter if that's AJ Styles or Bobby Lashley or something else, right? You never know. But hopefully, after this, we can actually get a focus here with Edge going to WrestleMania, a program that we actually care about, a story that we actually care about. All right, but we'll see what happens. But that's that. So that's the show ended with Edge and Beth staring Miz and Maurice down, setting the stage for the mixed tag team match on Saturday. To me, it kind of was a damper to end the show, but still, all in all, this was a decent show. A show that was carried by very, very good in-ring action here. Everybody brought it, man. Credit to Orton and Chad Gable, the Mysterios, the Street Profits, KO and Damian Priest, and Theory and Styles for putting on fantastic performances Monday night and giving us a show that actually defines what WWE should be. Wrestling. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, So this was a decent way to go into the Royal Rumble. We'll see what SmackDown has for us this weekend. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. So I want to thank you guys once again for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. That's about it for your Monday Night Raw review. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like on the video. Hit the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Follow me down on social media. The links are in the description down below. Like I said, I should have an AEW review. I'm planning on that for this week. We'll see. I don't know yet about the SmackDown review because I usually do my SmackDown reviews on Saturdays. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do a double review on Saturday with the Royal Rumble. That do a review this Saturday afternoon, then watch the Royal Rumble for 3-4 hours, then do another 2-hour podcast. That seems like a very, very long day. But you never know. We'll see what happens. But yeah. But other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Thank you guys as always, man. Make sure you guys are here. It's gonna be a fun week with everything going on in the Royal Rumble. We'll see what happens with Sasha Banks, Ronda Rousey, and everybody else. I'll keep you guys updated. If I hear any more news on Ronda's situation, I'll let you guys know on the AEW review. But thank you guys for everything. I will see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.